unappreciation.
Yeah.
But Johnny, I hate to tell you, but that's just the NXT way, isn't it?
No, it is, yeah.
I mean, I've been unappreciated since I set foot in the place. Big sister to the entire women's locker room. I sacrificed for these women. I put them before myself. I ate second so they could all eat first. It's the right way. But when I needed anyone, where were you? Not there. Nowhere to be found. And you know, I kept telling myself over and over, they'll change. Candace, it's okay. They'll change. You know, some people will call that insanity. You know, doing the same thing over and over, and you expect different results. Insanity. I found it to be quite enlightening, actually. Because you know what? I'm not going to eat second anymore.
Welcome back to another new episode of the War Report. I am your host, Murjani, and as always, I am joined by Cyrus. We are recording from Club Quarantine. What's going on, Cyrus? How you feeling?
Man, I sure hope we get to close the club soon because I want to go outside.
I doubt it. Doubt it anytime soon. Stay home and flatten the curve so we can have some semblance of summer because some places are opening up, particularly in Georgia, and that will be a place where I stay away from for quite a long while. So, Georgia, hang in there. Please stay at home. Yeah. Concerning the shows of AEW and NXT, a lot of wrestling. There were AEW Dynamite. There was a lot of squash matches overall. You could see the holes that are kind of with like people missing. No MJF, obviously he's injured. No Nyla Rose. No Britt Baker this week. No Hikaru Shida.
So wait, about MJF, did you know he was injured for all this time?
I heard rumors. I didn't know that he was actually injured though.
I feel like, you know, for a long time I was just like, man, these shows are really missing MJF. Like I think he would be he would be a sore spot, you know, in everybody's side while, you know, everybody's in quarantine and, you know, him still doing like his promos and stuff, you know, still, you know, being pretentious and stuff. I feel like that's like, it would be a missed opportunity, but like knowing that he's injured now, I'm just like, oh shit, like that really sucks.
Well, he also lives in New York, so you know, with what's going on in New York right now, I don't think it's really smart for him to fly to either Georgia or Florida. So, a lot of glaring omissions, I'll just say. They're doing what they can. I got to cut them a little slack because we are in a pandemic. I wouldn't really advise people to fly places if they don't have to. So, and some of these shows were taped. So, you know, you do what you can. We're going to start with AEW first. Sammy Guevara and Darby Allin. I thought this was a good match overall. I thought it felt a little different than their first match. That spot with Sammy Guevara in the ladder was pretty wild. I thought he was hurt. I just thought like the way that he smacked against the ladder, he either hurt Darby Allin with his legs or he either hurt his ribs. But it was fine. Darby was a little methodical here, going for Sammy's foot and ankle, which was pretty cool. And I like that Darby won with the Last Supper, not the coffin drop. Good stuff here.
Yes, really good stuff. I do like seeing this more methodical Darby Allin. Like it's less crash course and it's more like, oh, he's actually like thinking about his offense, and I like that a lot more than you know, the usual Darby Allin we've been getting lately. Or like before the Darby Allin we were getting before.
Before I get into the Matt Hardy stuff a little bit, I'm going to switch gears and go to Kenny Omega and Alan Angels. Alan Angels got beat by Archer in a squash match. Jericho was noticeably flustered on commentary here. He started off calling it a warm-up match, and then as the match went on, he's like, whoa, like, Alan Angels is getting a little bit more offense than I expected.
Yeah.
It was more of a 50-50 match for me, unless they sign Alan Angels or they're going to push him. I'm not sure what
Amen.
Kenny was doing here. I just he
Oh,
kicks out of a V trigger. Like it looks. Usually, when you book these styles of matches, Kenny Omega would be the heel, and then Alan Angels would kind of be the underdog babyface that takes him by surprise. But
yeah. Shockingly takes him to like not like a limit, but like Kenny Omega has to pull out more than he thought he would. But yeah, I'm completely on Jericho's side on this one. I was just like, oh, hey man, he's really hanging in there a little too long.
yeah, I don't know. I know that this show in particular had a lot of squash matches towards the back end, and then like mixed with a little bit of promo, and maybe they wanted to give it a little bit more of a different look or a different feel, but you know, Kenny is their one half of the longest reigning tag champs. Again, another guy missing, Hangman Page. I guess because he's quarantining, so he's another missing presence, and he's also the AAA champion as well. And it's weird because I'm like, damn, Kenny can't do squash matches. Like they always have to be a little bit longer. There's always like this style that he has. It was just, I don't know. It was a little weird for me. This was a little weird.
Ryan Satin went on Twitter and it was just like, yeah, Kenny Omega definitely gave Alan Angels gave him a lot, and I haven't seen the match yet, but I'm just like, hey man, if like you can read it and it just sounds crazy, and then you see it and it's even crazier. Like someone that's not even signed to AEW, or he probably hasn't been confirmed yet because Alan J, she recently got signed during this whole thing, and I think that's really cool. But Kenny Omega is giving him a lot, and then we talked about it in the group chat and stuff like that, and it was just like you remember when the V trigger was kind of a big deal, and then I was just like, you remember when the V trigger was a big deal, and then people were just like, and that shit hasn't been a big deal in forever, and it was just like, this kind of would have been the time to kind of establish that as a very devastating move against Alan Angel, but now it's the equivalent of a blue thunder bomb,
No, I just think that a lot of people are saying that Kenny has lost a step, and maybe a little bit, but I think that there are flashes of that guy still there. The problem is that AEW, if he's not facing a Pac, or if he's not going against the Young Bucks, or maybe the Lucha Brothers, somebody of that caliber, he doesn't really have a lot of dance partners that brings that out of him like he does in New Japan. Like he had Kota Ibushi there, he had Okada, he had Tanahashi, he had
the level of competition.
Yeah, it's different. And here, like I said, maybe he's trying to make Alan Angels a future star. I don't know what Alan Angels' contract situation is, but it was just different.
So a lot of people have this thing where it's just wrestling needs to create new stars, blah blah, blah, this and that, and Kenny Omega can definitely be that star. He may be well into his age, but he can still be a star.
No, he is. He's definitely one of their high, their top stars.
Yeah, and it's just really calling a spade. Kenny Omega definitely shouldn't have given him that much. Jericho was stunned when he kicked out of the V trigger, and shit, so was I. That definitely should have ended the match, because the match doesn't go much longer after that. So it was just yeah, you guys definitely could have called it there. But if Kenny Omega wants to give this dude a lot, then go, so be it. I think if I was in Kenny Omega's shoes, I definitely would have beat the hell out of him, really squash him. and then maybe in a later future, when things come back to normal, they sign, like, they announce that Alan Angels is signed, and then he rack up some wins, long-term booking style stuff, and it's just like, yeah, I remember fighting Kenny Omega, like, he kicked my ass on my debut, or not my debut, but he kicked my ass in my second match, and like, look where I am now. They could have did it. Losing isn't always that bad, getting squashed isn't always that bad. They could have did a lot of stuff with him losing if they wanted to give him this much, but no. Kenny Omega gave him a lot, and people are just like, oh man, maybe Kenny Omega doesn't want to do the WWE style squash match, blah blah blah, this and that. Like, squash matches are dumb, and it's just like, you guys were not saying that a couple weeks ago when Lance Archer was beating the hell out of Marco Stunt, so I don't want to hear it.
Well, the thing is with that is, like, if you think of it in two different schools of thought, Kenny is a VP, so. It's like he's damned if he does and damned if he doesn't, kind of, because if he does a squash match, he's squashing talent. But at the same time, if it's a regular squash match, that would be 3 on the show. So essentially, you would have 3 regular matches and 3 squash matches. It's a little bit a combination of WWE Saturday Morning Superstars or Live Wire or WWE Saturday Night or something like that. So like, it gives it a different look. It was a little puzzling to me, but they got to get their full roster back.
Honestly, like, a lot of the squash matches that were on the show really didn't even need to happen.
Wardlow, I'm gonna say, I'll jump into, like, it was good to see Wardlow, to like reminder that he's actually on the roster. Obviously from wherever they were reporting from, Georgia, they're employing a lot of indie talent on, I guess, a per show basis to kind of show like, you know what I mean? Like, Wardlow going 50-50 with Lee Johnson, that would have been bad. You know what I mean? Like, Brody Lee going 50-50 with Justin Law would have also been bad. So obviously, they're foreshadowing Brody Lee versus Marco Stunt next week. But it was to show that, hey, these guys are still here. Brody,
maybe Warlow didn't need a match this week. Like, I definitely think they could have gave him somebody. They could have given Warlow somebody like Trent or something like that, or I don't, like, if you're gonna have squash matches this whole show, I definitely think Kenny Omega definitely should have been one of those people to get us get the squash match. But hey, man, it's Kenny Omega's company, man. Whatever he wanted to do, that's his business.
Yeah, we're gonna get into Matt Hardy a little bit. He cut a promo both as Broken Matt and regular Matt. It was. I
thought this was very interesting.
Well, it was interesting because he was challenging Jericho, but he was also kind of inviting Sammy Guevara. And then he says that, that regular Matt is protecting the youth of AEW. And I'm like, okay, well, you're challenging Jericho, but you're also challenging the youth of AEW and Sammy Guevara. It was interesting. It is, he's doing a very mankindish Mick Foley promo here.
And I do think that's like a weird, that is a weird contradiction in, his words, but I thought it was very interesting because this is new. Like, this is new stuff where he can, the being inside him, whatever is out there, and he's just like, maybe this is too much for you to handle. So I will revert myself back to the human that you are used to. And I thought that was very interesting and very funny. And then, he cuts an amazing promo in normal Matt Hardy fashion. And I thought that was very great as well. Tony Khan said that next week on AEW is probably going to be one of the best episodes in AEW's history. So I definitely think we're getting some sort of like are we gonna get a deletion of some sort? Like, is Sammy Guevara? Because I wouldn't want it.
I don't know. We get Marco Stunt and Brody Lee, Cody versus Darby Allin, Lance Archer versus Dustin Rhodes, Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc versus Best Friends on a no DQ match. So I don't know what they're doing. They're probably gonna have to do some promos to kill time a little bit, but I mean I don't know. Like I like see like we've been critical of Matt Hardy and everything with the broken thing and saying that it's a little bit worn. But I like this wrinkle here. Like I said,
It's new.
a couple minutes ago. It's very Mick Foley-ish. Mick Foley had Mankind, Dude Love, and Cactus Jack, and he had like the three faces of Foley, and even being himself. And Matt can kind of use this to his advantage. He could be version 1 Matt Hardy, or just Matt Hardy when he wants to tone down to the broken Matt. So for the most part, I thought it was better. It was good stuff.
Mm-hmm. I like this a lot. We kind of seen everything before with the compound and stuff like that, but this is new, so I enjoyed that aspect of it a lot. And I hope Matt Hardy puts Sammy Guevara over when they have the match or whatever. But I also like that he was just like he's like challenging Sammy Guevara, but he's like also like putting him over a lot, because he was just like, Jericho, you're a coward. You never addressed my challenge, but your friend, the false god. I think the false god thing is very funny. Sammy Guevara, he had the courage to speak. So I would like to invite him to my compound and, do the whole thing. And I was just like, yeah, that's pretty good. I like that.
The Dustin Rhodes Kip Sabian match, they tried to add some stakes to it with if Dustin loses, he retires. I thought that was a little weird.
No.
To kind of like add a little, I guess, pizzazz to it. I didn't think that you really needed it. I thought, like, this was going to be a good match anyway, because I think Dustin works better with a lot of athletic guys. His match with Jake Hager, when it's two big guys, like, that was just kind of slow and lumbering. Maybe that was a little bit more on Hager's side, but Kip Sabian is another good young piece that AEW has. This match was fine. I thought, like, I didn't think that it was amazing, but I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Dustin Rhodes got the win here. I'm not sure what him and Lance Archer is going to look like next week. Because
hopefully it's a squash.
I don't think there's going to be a squash. I think, if the worst kept secret of this whole tournament is that it's going to be Cody and Lance Archer. And if Lance Archer wants to kind of give a message to Cody, or like kind of like, this is what I'm going to do, he's going to beat the hell out of Dustin. And I think Dustin is going to get a little bit of offense, but ultimately he's going to end up getting color next week or something like that. That's what I'm feeling. Like Kip Sabian.
I feel the same way.
It was a little weird at the end with Brandy and Penelope. I mean, that
didn't like that part.
At the end, I didn't think that it needed it. Like, the Canadian Destroyer has kind of been Dustin Rhodes' like bread and butter since he's gotten to AEW. So,
he's making it a finisher again. So I'm sure PD Williams can get some sleep at night.
Yeah, as long as it's not WWE guys using it, then he approves, I guess. But I mean, it's cool. It's good stuff. Dustin's gonna get the hell beat out of him next week, so I hope he's prepared for that. I'll say, kind of wrapping up AEW stuff, Jimmy Havoc and Orange Cassidy. What the hell? Jimmy Havoc was beating the hell out of Orange Cassidy for, it seemed like, 10 minutes. And then Orange Cassidy kind of goes on his Hulk Hogan run, I'll say. This was the match was almost 10 minutes. Again, it's weird. It's like very Groundhog Day ish because Penelope got involved again. Like it's like she's getting involved in half the matches on Dynamite. That's another problem with not having a lot of women there. It's just that roster is just severely limited, and I guess this is the third or fourth show that they're doing this, and it's starting. The cracks are starting to show.
Yeah, definitely with this, the Jimmy Havoc and Orange Cassidy match, I was just like, yeah, something is wrong here, and I'm sorry, I really don't think Orange Cassidy works in this no crowd sort of setting, But I'm glad Jimmy Havoc's on the show. I'm sure a lot of British fans that are a big fan of him. They're excited to see him, but I don't think Orange Cassidy is the opponent for him. Like we could not get an Orange Cassidy match when there was a live crowd and forever, and then we get it now when there's no people to really like feed off of, because like his gimmick really needs that, and it's just not great.
I mean, you got it against Pac. It's just that like circumstances, you can't have a crowd unless it's the wrestlers that they have there. That's all you can. That's all you can really do. Like of course, like Orange Cassidy's gimmick is very. I guess enhanced by having a loud crowd there, especially when he's doing, the hands in his pocket, he's doing the comeback. It's just like maybe I don't think that you hold off on him having matches. It's just that you're just going to have to accept them for what they are right now.
I think it's a lot easier to accept them for what they are when there's a crowd really like going crazy behind it, because like at that point it's just like it's undeniable. Like you can like really hate it all you want, but just like listen to the cheers of these people, and it's just like but like right now it is I think it's a little weird. Like I don't really think it works.
Yeah, let's move on to NXT. I'm gonna jump around a little bit here. I'm gonna let's talk about a little bit about the Johnny Gargano promo. When I saw that Candice was going to be involved in the storyline, I was like, oh no, like you know what I mean? Like I thought that it hurt.
This is
her.
Where we at?
Well, no, because I thought that it hurt her in the beginning of them getting into, in the middle of Gargano and Ciampa. I was like, okay. You let Candice and plus after that she was having really good matches. Like remember the one with EO and things like that. But like this worked for me here because it goes off the whole thing of her being the kind of the big sister and kind of relinquishing her goals and like her, like she was there for EO and EO turned on her. She was she had the War Games match with Rhea. She's always kind of like, I'll be there for you. And you know what? Now she's like, you know what? Fuck all that. Like I'm going after mine. And then Johnny Gargano. I mean, okay. I it's like, what can you do with Johnny Gargano at this point? What more can you do? Like I get that he's doing, he goes off with the whole like, like every time they ask me to do like autographs and stuff, I was there. And then he talks about Finn Balor and stuff is like cool. I just don't know. I'm like, all right, I don't know where his character is gonna go. I'm just like, all right, like if you can't move him to SmackDown or Raw, where else, like, heel Johnny Gargano? And maybe we didn't get fully heel Johnny Gargano with the Ciampa storyline, but I don't know.
I like this a lot because Johnny Gargano is like, well, less like Candice is spreading her wings now. Like, you know, like you said, like the matches with EO and stuff like that. Like the matches were always great quality, but you know, you kind of have to connect, and just being the person that, you know, the babyface can rely on to be a tag team partner. Like sometimes that's not good enough, you know? And now that, you know, she turned heel, which I think is interesting. She has a great new look. She's spreading her wings. So I think a lot of people should like look at this less like this is a Johnny Gargano thing, and look at it more as a Candice thing. Because I think it's this is mainly for her. Like this is really gonna work for her.
I mean, he does say in the promo, like, the thing that I liked is, like, you know, you should eat first. So instead of kind of like Candice being, you know, the, like, I guess the kind of sidekick to Johnny, Johnny's going to kind of be that for Candice. Which, if they do it in that way, I think that would be pretty cool. Like, I think that, like,
Yeah.
Johnny has accomplished so much in NXT. You know, if you don't want him to be, maybe go after the NXT championship down the line. I don't think he needs to do it right now, but like he can, he could kind of like use, you know, prop up Candice a little bit. It would be a nice little role reversal.
Yeah, and I'm for it. You know, think John. You can think Johnny Gargano's a dork, or you know, he's a little weird. Hey, man, just look at it as like this is for Candice, not Johnny. And I think you kind of like it more.
Yeah, 3 NXT Cruiserweight Championship matches here.
All good.
They were all good. I'm gonna speak a little bit about Drake Maverick. It seems like they are going off the, like, he's fighting for his life storyline. Like, he got fired. If you know, like, what's kept secret? He was part of the layoffs, and he said that he was going to, you know, fight anyway in this Cruiserweight Championship tournament. So he's still going to be around for a while. And they are really laying it on that, like, him trying to win the Cruiserweight Championship is basically saving his job. And I thought that was a little... If this didn't happen when layoffs happened and people lost their jobs, I would be okay with it. But the fact that people got let go, I'm side-eyeing this a little bit.
Also, I think it's really weird that, like, because these shows are pre-taped, but we have like a story that kind of happened last week. You know, like I'm pretty sure this match was like taped well in advance. But now we're getting this, you know, I think it's nice how they like turn it into like a story, you know, that that's really like congealing together. But honestly, if you think I do think it's very weird. Like if you don't like it, like completely reasonable. It does feel kind of like shady. That, like, you know, just very real thing. You know, they're kind of like working this as you know, into a story, which should be no surprise. It's wrestling, but
wrestling's a carny business.
Yeah, so maybe we shouldn't be surprised, but kind of just
yeah, I'm not.
It's a little weird. I don't mind.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. It's just I just think that, like, given the circumstances, a little. I wouldn't have done this. I wouldn't have done this right now. Like, you know, the enduring babyface of underdog, fighting, basically trying to win a title, not so he wouldn't get a pink slip. I don't know, man. Like, I think that Drake Maverick should stay, regardless. I just don't think that, like, just under these circumstances where about over 30 people got let go. Like, I'm like, right now, given on the status of the country and like 23 million people getting let go, I don't think I don't
Yeah.
think that. Like, let's not make Drake Maverick the everyman, please.
Honestly, but like when you say it like that, it's just like, man, just like think of it as just like, oh man, like all those people got laid off. Maybe now we have like 23 million people to relate to Drake Maverick. Maybe that was a thought.
I think those 23 million people are wondering, when
why is wrestling still on?
Well, one,
Yeah.
I doubt that a lot of them are watching wrestling. I think they're worried about where their next paycheck is going to come or where their next how to feel their family. So they're not identifying with Drake Maverick's like, I could be like him too. I could rise up on the ashes. Like he, they are battling a virus.
Mm-hmm.
They're not fighting for the cruiserweight championship.
Yeah, it's weird, but do you see him in the finals now?
I think you kind of have to. I don't see him in the finals. I see him getting enough points to be in the conversation and then kind of losing, because you have in his block you got Jake Atlas, Kushida, Tony Nese, and Tony Nese.
Yikes!
So I mean, my pick out of Block A, Kushida, I think is going to win. So maybe Drake kind of gets a little bit of upsets and make it interesting, but I don't think that he's going to win.
Yeah, that's fair. I think if he makes it to the finals in his block, I think that would be very interesting.
If he makes it to the finals over Kushida, I'm calling bullshit.
No, well, in his the finals in his block.
Okay.
So like semifinals.
Definitely think it should be Kushida. Speaking of Kushida, I thought his match with Tony Nese was kind of the best of the night. I mean, no surprise there.
Classic. Yeah, really, really good stuff. Kushida's really good, man.
Well,
I like cruiserweight champions, like the title kind of like goes wherever. Like there's not really a long title reign, but I definitely think Kushida should definitely should be the person that really holds down that title, man. He's a really good wrestler. Tony Nese, also former cruiserweight champion, no slouch in the ring. He's really good, man.
Also got the debut of El Hijo del Fantasma against Jack Gallagher.
This is his debut, and he kind of just shows himself as one of the smartest men on the roster. He wins his match, and then he goes out to the parking lot, and he doesn't get kidnapped. He actually fights back, and you know what? That makes a lot of sense because you see a lot of people. The car pulls up, the people come out, and then they're just like, "Why are you leading me inside a car?" And then they just drive off.
Well, a lot of those guys.
Fantasma is just like, don't play with me.
A lot of those guys lost.
Oh.
And then
they lost, so they just lost their brain cells.
Well, it's just think of if it happened to you, if you go outside and all of a sudden guys roll up in the trunk, mobster style, and try to kidnap you. Obviously you would kind of be like, what the hell is going on here? And then maybe you fight back, but it catches you by surprise.
Cause I look at I remember him fighting it, right, and then I think about who is it, Raul Mendoza, where they kind of just run up on him and then they just kindly guide him into the car, and he's just like, oh, shit, okay.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh, for real,
I mean, good on him.
Yeah.
Good on him not getting basically kidnapped. He's
whatever that
smart.
story is.
Yeah, I don't know where that story's going. Maybe, hopefully, there's a red herring, or perhaps the wrestlers that got kidnapped will come back Has anybody asked about their whereabouts?
No, which is very weird.
I mean, I would be, suppose that these wrestlers have families and things that who are worried about them.
Hmm.
So maybe we should kind of follow up on that. Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez and Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Knox. Nice little sprint, I think. Right person wins.
The Tegan and Raquel had like a nice little sprint last week, and they're having a little sprint this week. I hope there's like a longer match down the line, or like a very serious match down the line. But yeah, man, I would like to see more from Raquel, or I do like Tegan Knox a lot, so I would like to see more than just a sprint. But it is what it is.
Kind of finish up a little bit. So Velveteen Dream and Keith Lee were going to have a match. Presumably.
Mm-hmm.
Keith Lee, I mean, kudos. I want to say kudos to basically Damian Priest on that promo and like reminding us that he beat Keith Lee.
Yeah.
He takes out Keith Lee, and then our returning champion Dexter Lumis comes to Velveteen Dream's aid. It's funny because he was in the ramp like staring. I like his character. I think he's probably one of the best characters in NXT right now. He lays waste to the Undisputed Era, and they get.
He looks great in there.
Yeah.
Way you man. We saw the vision, man. Dexter Lumis is gonna big things, man. Got the War Report rocket strap, man. This was really cool to see. Especially like 1 week he's squashing Tahuti Miles, just like some random, and now he's like in the main event with the main eventers, like. Really cool stuff, man. I can't wait. I can't wait to see like because Undisputed Era is gonna do their whole thing where it's just like who the hell Dexter Lumis thinks he is, blah blah blah, and he's probably gonna try. He's probably gonna have a match with Roderick Strong, and it's probably gonna be really good stuff.
Yeah. Dexter Lumis and Roderick Strong is probably the best combination to go because obviously Velveteen Dream and Adam Cole have a date. Fighting for that title, which I think it was important for him to get the pinfall on Adam Cole. Dexter Lumis, I didn't think that he would be kind of like inserted into kind of like this main event picture early, but like I said, like he's got one of the best characters in NXT right now, so why not? Just go ahead, like is he gonna go after Dream? His character is kind of ambiguous with his basically what he's gonna do. So he could go either way, but he beat he got in the ring and beat the hell out of Adam Cole and Roderick Strong. So
he got a lot of offense off on them, and I think that's really interesting. I think in NXT, they can do something with him not really having title aspirations. I get he may just want to like maybe he just wants to let NXT be a landscape that that isn't ran by the Undisputed Era or something, and he's like fine with that. Who knows? I think you could kind of keep him away from the title for a while.
No, he wouldn't win it. I don't think that he would win it anytime soon. Like I think anything that's Velveteen's coming down, the road.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure what they're doing with the Undisputed Era right now because everything's kind of in a holding pattern. And move them to SmackDown, move them to the Raw. Like they've done everything here. I don't think that Kyle O'Reilly with his diabetes, obviously he cannot get to Florida right now. So maybe you want to wait until things clear up to move them all to another brand, but like down the road, if this clears up, please move them.
Yeah. Please move them, but like also like I don't want to see a repeat of the Fiend. So like I definitely don't think Dexter Lumis should like really be anywhere near the title soon.
No, I don't think you're gonna see that. Triple H doesn't like the way he books champions and the way he books challengers. You're not gonna get another Fiend situation.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all. That's it for NXT. Anything else that you want to say before we get out of here?
Stay inside. Take care of yourselves. Don't be weird. Don't be just enjoy your time at home, man. Because we're gonna be here for a while.
Next week on NXT, you get Charlotte versus Mia Yim, and then you got Damian Priest versus Keith Lee for the North American title. They should be both good matches. Looking forward to seeing Charlotte and Mia Yim 5 years later. And Damian Priest and Keith Lee should be. Yeah, I'm glad that Keith Lee has another dance partner that is not Donovan Dijakovic. Yeah, so as always, you can follow us at RNC Radio Live on Twitter, Instagram, all your podcast feeds on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, everywhere. Got a lot of shows for your quarantine needs. RSB and Uncensored is chronicling The Last Dance every week. They have a new episode that is up. Of course, we have a new episode of the Mount Silver podcast. Talk about Misty and the Cerulean City. New episode of It's a Challenge is going up today. Got a new episode of Chat with Nelson. He came back. He's talking to man. I don't want to get this wrong.
I haven't gotten the time to listen to the episode. But yeah, Chatting with Nelson is back. RSPN boys are back, talking about the Michael Jordan documentary, which I need to watch. I would like to see. Now that I know it's not really like Jordan focus, I would like to see a lot of it. But yeah, man, it should be some should be some cool stuff.
Yeah, got a new episode of the Big Eyes podcast. Obviously, you got a new episode of the A Show that's coming up. New episode of Recalling Saul. The season just ended. Is phenomenal, I think. And a new episode of the Black Variant. They talk about HBO Max. So for myself and for Cyrus, we will be back next week. There's a lot of matches on AEW Dynamite, and as Tony Khan said, it's the best. He thinks it's the best AEW Dynamite episode ever, and we will see.
Sometimes you just don't need to tweet stuff.
Well, I mean, like, you usually should under-promise and over-deliver. And I think that with Tony Khan's recent tweet storms against players of the Jacksonville Jaguars, he's setting his order very tall. And I hope that this doesn't come back to bite him in the ass. All right, for myself and Cyrus, we're going to get out of here, and we will talk to you next week.